Silent Bob Reboot. What is it about? Well, it's about Jay and Silent Bob. Their movies being rebooted, but instead, Jay's character is not going to be a female, and there's going to be a lot more diversity and everything like that. So, this movie is making fun of Hollywood and their chances of doing a reboot and a remake. And this movie also tells about what is the difference between a reboot and remake, which they explain it really awesomely, but it's still really confusing. Like, is this a reboot? Is this a remake? I don't know. But anyway, this is basically a fan service film for us fans that like the Jay and Silent Bob and want to see it another sequel, because the last time Jay and Silent Bob was actually on the screen in a movie in the front and center was 1999 with Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back. So what I like about this movie, this is a fun movie to watch. It had a good story. It had a lot more heart than I thought it would. So the writing was actually positive where they were trying to go with this film, as well as the cameos. Cameos were fun and cool in between. There are a little disappointing cameos because there's something like, oh, that's that person. Oh, that's that person. But you're hoping for like some of the ones that come back from Strike Back, which some do come back, especially a cop. The one cop you might, oh, it's not really a cop, security guard. You have a back view and you're like, yep, that is that person. So you know Kevin Smith did make this movie for the fans. There are some hilarious parts in this movie. And like I said, the one really, really positive part of this movie is the story and where they're trying to put with the heart. There were a couple good spots where you're like, this story is actually pretty strong. Stronger than Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back. Other than that, I was a little overall, I guess my hype factor was so high of like how I saw Chasing Amy, Clerks, and Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back. I was expecting more just over the topness. Like, I felt like Kevin Smith kind of went timid a little bit when writing the script on some of the jokes, because when you watch Strikes Back in this one, you could tell a night and day of like Strike Back. I feel like he didn't care about the political climate was and everything. This one, there are some, edgy jokes where it pushes at you. You're like, oh, everything has to have diversity now and gender swapping and everything, of how Hollywood is being fake in the next 10 years. They're going to have no original ideas. But it just felt like it wasn't a lot more edgier with the actual jokes and language provided by Jay. There are some, like I said, there are some good scenarios in this movie. Like there's shenanigans they get into when they're in Chicago, which is a pretty funny shenanigans. They do make fun of, I want to say make fun of the whole vegan versus meat eaters, and Jay's just confused because he's like, 6 moo burgers, we're vegan. He's like, anything without meat now. And then with cheese and dairy and stuff like that. So there are some good jokes. There is a white supremacist scene where I think they put it on purpose because of another hate tots. So hate tots, because that scene was kind of really weak. Actually, that was one of the more weaker streams of like, huh? And that's the one time Silent Bob talks, and you're like, you couldn't find a better scene for Silent Bob to say something like predominantly, because every time Silent Bob actually talks, it's the obvious or it's actually something heartfelt and actually like it's a gut punch for the story. This one really wasn't like that, but I'm being really critical of this movie because maybe I was expecting a lot more from Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. I mean, it was a fun movie. I would watch it again. I might go on the road show and actually drive a couple hours to see it in Oakland or Sacramento. That would be in January, the beginning of January, if I do it. But overall, Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. If you're a fan, go see it. Of course, Jason Lee's in it. He's one of the better parts. Matt Damon's in it. And the of course, Ben Affleck's in it. The rift happening. Matt Damon cameo, it because it's in the trailer. It's kind of goofy. You're like, why are you in this? And I think if he was in it for more of a voiceover, like he was for the Chicago, I think it would have been like pretty awesome. Matt Damon kind of voiceovering this movie for a little bit, just randomness. Chris Hemsworth's in it. You can just tell by the IMDb page. Like I said, fun cameos. It is a great story, actually, but I felt like the jokes were held down for just, yeah. So Jay and Silent Bob Reboot will receive a 3.5 out of 5 Blue Futons. It goes at 70%. So City Critics News Scores gave this film. So you have the critics a 70% with 10 of them. Audience score at 95% with 216. There's no critic consensus. I mean, I'm with the critics on this one. I could have It was honestly 70 or 60 in my opinion. I could have gone a little bit lower. Just like I said, some of the scenes didn't work. It didn't flow as well as Strikes Back. Like the reboot, it started strong too. It started in New Jersey. It made sense. Justin Long's character made sense. Craig Robinson's character, like it made sense. Then you go to the mall. Mall Rats with Jason Lee makes sense. And then the middle part was kind of the weaker part, and then the last half, and also the protagonist of the actual bad guy in this movie was a little like what. So it was just a lot of weird stuff. Maybe I have to rewatch it again and try to understand what he was doing. But I'll stick with my 70, just because the story was actually a strong story. So do you think 70% or 95? Chasing out the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. Well, no things Booftoniantopia, you Booftonians. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Like I said, it's only 2 nights only. And then when it comes to each theater, with I think it's 63 cities around the world or country for the road show, that's when it goes in those theaters around that time. But if you have the chance, go see it. I recommend it. Schnoogie Boogies. Is it Schnoogie Boogies? It's Schnoogans, but it's like I said, there's a lot of good cultural references in this. There are, especially with the Jason Lee. The Jason Lee was the best part, I think.